I'd always known about the Markel Magnolia Cup by having spent lots of time at Goodwood on the motorsport side with my husband Dario, who's been racing and has been involved with Goodwood for many, many years. In the back of my mind I thought, oh yes, that sounds amazing. About 2 years ago it was sort of floated to me that maybe I might like to consider doing it, and I slightly brushed it off, and then it was floated again very close to it last year, and I said, well, if I'm going to do it, I want to make sure that I've prepared for it and that I'm as fit as I could be and coming into it. And now I feel like I've accidentally found myself here 2.5 weeks before I'm actually getting on a horse at the Markel Magnolia Cup and racing at Goodwood. It is the most physically demanding thing that I have ever done. You are riding out several horses in very quick succession. You're having to try not to be slow in tacking up and getting on and going and doing that. And so that was definitely a real challenge in adjusting to the speed of just being on a working yard. But I think I've just about got hold of it now. I've been lucky in that I grew up riding as a child. I then stopped when I went off to university, and I competed to a reasonable standard, more at things like working hunter and show jumping and pony club, and I'd always been involved with horses, and then I stopped and would just ride with friends occasionally over the years. And then when I had children 9 years ago, I decided that I wanted to get the girls into riding as soon as I can. And the girls are now competing as well to a decent standard. So I do still ride. I now seem to spend more of my time riding ponies than I do riding horses, but I'm glad to get on them. We're very lucky, I think, that we're a competitive family. And so naturally, all of us are, interact and compete at everything. I think it was quite interesting. He came down today and he actually spent a lot of time with Jamie as well. And I think he really enjoyed almost seeing the same mentality that comes through, and actually we see across all of the sports disciplines and any sports people we spend time with, and that's been really apparent for me here, is that it requires the same commitment, it requires the same discipline, it's the same frustrations, it's the similarities between the horse racing and the car racing is actually quite astounding in some ways. Dario was always incredibly disciplined when he was driving, and would almost take himself into a meditative state before he would race. I think that's going to be a bit more challenging when I'm on a live animal than when I'm sitting in a car, but there's probably some comparisons that we can make. I'm slightly terrified, I think, to actually be at Goodwood and to be racing there. I don't think I still quite believe it. I think that when we drive down the day before the race, and on the Thursday morning we're walking out and we're walking the course and we're interacting with all the other the other remarkable women that I'm racing with in the Markel Magnolia Cup, it will really hit me. Everyone says just to try to enjoy it. It has been a challenge, but I also know that I think that the riding out the racehorse bug has probably got me a little bit, so Jamie won't have seen the last of me yet.